Are we live?
It's showing.
It says it's live on mine now.
Okay, cool. We got 3 people on here. Do you have headphones?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can grab some.
Okay. There's just an echo, that's why.
Yeah.
This is so dumb that I can't keep it just him. Or maybe... Oh, look, I fixed it. All I had to do was just click it once, not twice.
Did you hear what...
Did
you read this post? Right here.
If MGK wasn't scared and wanted to win a battle with him, and all he had to choose not to fucking Haley. Damn, dude. He should
For real.
He should have.
He should take it.
Yeah, because you could tell that he left it kind of like
open.
Yeah.
Not to the full extent.
Yeah.
25th Street. 25th Street.
What's going on, everybody? We are just going to wait for a couple minutes to get some more people in here. What's going on, Keeper? That is Mr. Steve. Steve, say your name correctly.
Say my name? My name?
Last name.
Hold on one second. You guys went into the headphones here.
It's Steve. Steve?
Yes, Steve.
Say my name. Say my name.
It's actually Steve Brodt.
Brodt. That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, just because the D kind of throws you off.
Yeah.
What's up, Dustin? You remember Dustin, right? Did you meet Dustin?
Dustin.
Always gets naked at my house.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's on right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Stevie.
All right.
What's up, Alex from Spectral?
Is this all showing up in the chat for you guys?
Yeah, I have it pulled up on YouTube in the back.
I got you.
We're savvy like that.
We're savvy.
No, sav.
Oh, Save.
We're
Steve.
savvy.
We're talking to Steve A because we're Save. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. So let me get you with a quick intro. We are here with the one,
The only,
the man,
the legend,
the myth. I think the myth comes before the legend. You idiot.
the goddess,
The goddess. Steve Brodt. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I say this right. Glen Falls.
Glens actually has an S on it.
Glens.
Nobody ever says the S. It's cool.
It's because it's so... It's
Yeah.
weird to say Glens Falls.
Glens Falls.
Yeah.
They need to
Glen
change
Falls.
that.
Glen
Yeah.
Falls.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Paranormal Society.
Yeah. That's it.
You are a paranormal investigator. How long have you been doing this, Steve?
Since 2009. So 9 years going on 10.
Dang. How old are you?
25. So.
Oh, same age.
Oh, not that far off.
Whoa,
Yeah.
man. Okay, so I want to make something really, I want to point out something. So like me and Roman, if you saw us in person and we told you, yeah, we do paranormal investigating, they'd be like, oh, I can see that. But like when you look at Steve and you're like, you're a paranormal investigator?
Wait, hold on. You get that feeling from me?
Yeah, dude. I think more you than me. But Steve, like, he doesn't even, like, I wouldn't even guess.
Yeah, honestly, I went, do a 360 for us? No, I'm just kidding.
Let me stand up. Yeah.
Yeah, you just look like a normal, like, just a normal dude that wouldn't be interested in this stuff. So it's so strange whenever, like, I met you and stuff. I actually told my wife the same thing.
Yeah. It's funny actually because in high school I didn't tell anybody I did this, so nobody even knew I did it. So people still are kind of like, "What do you mean you go to haunted prisons?" Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, it's what we do." I don't know.
Yeah, it's confusing. Alex said, when I saw JP in public, I thought, oh, great, here we go. Dude, yeah, right. You had a boner instantly. He instantly was erect.
Oing, 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 oing.
We need a soundboard. Oing, oing,
We
oing.
do.
Yeah.
That'll be our
definitely
next
sound effects. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It.
Dude, I'm digging that background.
I know, dude.
Thanks.
How many do you have?
At this point, I think 26.
Man.
Dang.
I think.
And so what's I'm pretty sure there has to be a favorite.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think at this point it might be. Let me see if I can do this right. This guy right here above my head.
Okay.
I just got that one recently. It's from the 40s. It's made by Hasco. They make a bunch of the ones I have over here. But that one's just cool. It's pretty hard to find. They can go for some pretty good money. It's solid wood. It's pretty sweet. Came with the planchet and the box and everything.
So it's not like the plastic cardboard from
Not
Toys R Us.
the shit one.
Yeah,
I have.
no, a lot of the ones up here behind me are actually solid wood.
Wow.
Damn, that's awesome, dude.
No, go ahead.
So do you use a Ouija board on every session, like on every investigation?
Actually, I've never used one on an investigation ever.
Really?
What?
Why is that?
I just like them. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about recently because we do a lot of like public events and stuff. And so I've thought about recently bringing one, not necessarily to use, but to almost use as a trigger object. We investigate at this one place in particular in Vermont. It's a huge mansion castle from the 1800s. So they have a few rooms there that look the part, basically, that would be perfect for a seance or a Ouija session. So I've tossed around the idea a couple times of bringing one and just setting it up in there. And seeing if anything happens, but I don't want any of our guests at the events to get the wrong idea because there's that whole negative, ideology. Yeah, exactly. And so I thought about it, but I didn't want anybody to get rubbed the wrong way and not come back to some of our events. But no, I've never used one on the investigation before.
Well, let me ask Roman rubs me the right way.
Is there a difference in like material, like different style wood? Like
will it create more responses?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting because people make Ouija boards now out of everything. There was actually one. I'm obviously always on the internet looking for new ones to buy. And recently one popped up on eBay made out of 2 napkins from a restaurant, and the planchet was a tortilla chip. So I mean, and they claimed it was haunted. So I mean, people
they haunted their bells for a week.
Exactly. It was bad Mexican. They people say that it doesn't really matter, and I don't think it does. Like I said, I've never really used one. I've had one move, but we weren't using it. It's actually the one that I just pointed out, our new one. I say our new one. It's not really ours. My wife tolerates them. She doesn't exactly have the same passion for collecting them like I do.
Yeah, but we all experience that.
But we've had it move. We've had a couple of them actually move in our house after we brought them home, which is pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, our house. We have quite a bit of stuff going on here. I mean, it's 108 years old.
Your house?
Yeah, we bought a 108-year-old house this past March.
No, his wife.
No, their marriage combined.
She's a little younger. She's like 103. We've had crazy stuff going on here.
Alex said his wife gets possessed when we play the Ouija.
The Ouija?
Alex, your hand doesn't count. If it moves on its own, it's got to go.
Get on the Ouija.
Yeah, we did a. I don't ever get involved in them, not for like any specific reason. Just I don't know. Every time they're around, I'm just like, hey, y'all do it. I'll watch. One of those things. I don't even. Maybe it's like a subconscious thing.
Yeah, I'm the camera guy, so I don't really fiddle around with it.
Yeah,
you get your hands full, anyways.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's cool that you collect them. That's pretty dope. Somebody asked how many you had. I wrote 26.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I'm friends with a few of the people now that have bigger collections. Robert Murch is a guy who lives in Colorado now. He's actually been on a couple of the paranormal shows. He's friends with Nick Groff. But he's the world's leading, basically, Ouija historian. He has thousands of boards. There's actually over 1,000 different variations that, people don't even know that. They think, oh, a Ouija board's a Ouija board. But there's 1,000 different variations, and he has almost every single one. So I got a long way to go, but I'm getting there.
Where do you primarily go and buy them?
eBay, they have them a lot on eBay. It's just tough because prices get a little crazy on eBay. I always go out looking at antique stores, estate sales, flea markets.
I'm pretty sure estate sales get pretty crazy.
Yeah, and they're actually harder to find out in the wild, as you say. They're actually getting more difficult to find now that it's becoming more of a thing to collect. People find them and they put them on eBay for bigger money. I've actually only found one at an antique store, one at a flea market. Most of them have been online. I've had a few sent to me from people. I've grabbed a few from Robert Murch there, who has the collection.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, they're tough to find, but you can find them pretty much anywhere. People sell them on Craigslist and everything. So
yeah, when he said flea market, I was thinking all you can find in our flea markets are like
the Mexican
knockoff Louis Vuittons.
No. What you find in our flea markets is knockoff PlayStation 2s.
Yeah, they have everything knockoff.
Hey, there you go.
Everything, even the cologne's knockoff.
Hey,
it's just water and Febreze.
Whatever works, you know.
Yeah, but you also collected some other stuff. What else do you have?
Right now, there's 3 antique wheelchairs from the early 1900s, kind of popped around the room here. I guess I didn't realize how much stuff I actually had until I started putting it in this room, and the room wasn't as big as I thought it was. So I'm actually trying to get rid of a couple things. I have the 3 antique wheelchairs. To my left, there's an autopsy table from an old funeral home. Back right over here is a jail cell bed from a haunted jail. We've investigated a bunch. I actually have my water bottle set on one of my 3 headstones from the 1840s. I have a Madison Seminary exit sign that Adam gave me one of the times when I was out there.
Dang, that's awesome, man.
Now I have a question. Is your wife not tolerant? I mean, she's tolerant of the whole thing, but is she more or less okay with just the Ouija boards or the whole thing? You know, the whole paranormal. She's
actually in the group. Oh,
really? Okay.
I kind of dragged her into it when we first started dating. I was like, hey, I was going to Rolling Hills Asylum that weekend right before we started hanging out, and I volunteered out at Rolling Hills for a few years. So I was out there. I've been out there over 30 times actually.
Wow.
But so I was actually going out there one of these weekends, and she's like, oh, I'd like to go. So I was like, oh, okay. So I brought her out, and then she kind of just started snowballing into it. But a lot of times it's, a little too late past her bedtime. So she likes to do more behind the scenes marketing stuff for the group and all that. But yeah, she's into it.
That's important too, man. Behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge help.
Yeah, but it helps whenever you, whenever you have the backing of your significant other. It really does
definitely
help.
Yeah, she actually got me one of my best wheelchairs here as one of our wedding gifts. She got me it. She had saw me looking at it online for a while, and I was like, got the wedding coming up. I can't go spending money on a wheelchair. She'll kill me.
Yeah.
But she actually went on behind my back and messaged the lady, set up the buy sounds like drugs. Set up the buy there, and drove I think it was 2 or 3 hours to pick it up, and had a plaque made with our wedding date and put on it a little one at the top and stuff. So it was pretty cool. So she's big and supportive of it. So it's awesome.
Yeah, that's important to have that. That's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. So did she present that to you at the wedding in front of everybody?
Yeah. Well, actually, we did it separately. She went into one room and got her present from me, and then I went into another room and I got my present from her. We kind of did it separately. It was just us and the photographers each in our own room, so they could kind of capture it. But it was cool. We had our wedding at a bed and breakfast that's about an hour from us. That's haunted. Our group has investigated a couple times, so we're figured perfect spot for the wedding. So
nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah. I think it's funny because I could only imagine. What, did y'all know the photographer?
It was it was one of her aunt's friends, so he kind of knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say it'd be funny if he was like, the fuck, she got him a watch.
Yeah. I think that's just something.
What are they into?
Yeah. 50 Shades.
What kind of weird stuff?
Granny porn.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, dude, but that's cool that you have all that stuff. I only had one thing one time. It was this piece of metal that was thrown at us as a group by a spirit, and I brought it home with me because I was thinking, oh, how cool is that? Somehow a spirit manipulated this object to
it's exactly
toss it or something.
We had this thrown at us at an investigation at one of the jails out here. So it got thrown at us, hit the wall right behind us, and I scooped it right up, and I was like, oh, that's coming home.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Stuff. It's crazy to hold it and think somehow a spirit
it's gonna kill me. Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Exactly. It could have knocked me out. Somehow this thing flew across the room without anybody touching it, and that's just how is that possible?
That's wild. And I think I think his name's Steven, and he's with Paranormal Quest. Steven Hummel. He has that the museum, and I sent it to him with the story, so he has it up there at the museum.
Yeah, he's hit me up a couple of times, and we've talked about a few things. Like I'm trying to get rid of a few things because I don't have a lot of room in here, but it's not too easy to ship a 40-pound autopsy table to West Virginia from New York. So it's a little tough, but we'll figure out a way to get something down there.
So whenever you and your wife argue, instead of sending you on the couch, she sends you to the autopsy table.
Yeah. You go sleep with your headstones, that kind of thing.
Go sleep on the autopsy table. Tim said, I told you earlier, JP, I get possessed when I play Ouija by myself. It takes 2 days for me to come back to reality. Dang, Tim.
That's a hell of a high.
Yeah. Tell me what you're doing, man. So I know. Yeah, but I think it's so strange that you have all of those boards and then you've never used one on investigation.
Yeah, it just never really came up, I guess. I mean, some people are like, oh, do you use them? Why don't you bring them? And it's not a fear thing. Like I said, it's not because everybody thinks they're negative and it's opening a portal to, demons or whatever you want to say. I just don't know. I would have a hard time, I think, believing if I had 7 people or 5 people in there with their hands on it, that somebody wasn't playing some kind of joke on it and moving it, even if they don't, maybe it's subconsciously, they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
They're moving it. So it's just so hard to control that entire thing that I don't know. That's why I liked setting it and just having it move by itself without anybody in the room. So that was cool.
Yeah. That's pretty freaking crazy. Yeah, I think I only have maybe a handful of people that I could do the board with and be like, okay, they weren't messing around.
Right.
It was I don't want to point any fingers, but definitely not this person.
Right.
I'm the cameraman. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's got no comment. Yeah, he's got no comment.
I'm just a cameraman.
I would do it. I'd be like, oh my God.
Well, it's funny. He keeps saying he's just a cameraman, but he'll hit me up randomly. And he's like, dude, I need to go on an investigation. And when we met him, he wasn't doing this on his own. He had never even thought about doing it.
It's addicting after a while, yeah.
It is. You want more. It's like, you might go on 8, 9, 10 investigations and have nothing happen. But then that next one where a door slams or something moves, you're like, okay, we got to get back out there tomorrow.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, I got scared. Let's do it again.
Exactly. It's a good scare, right? Exactly.
Yeah, we went to this place. We were filming our TV show, which you saw, so you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
And we went to this place called Old Park Hotel, and I always talk about how scary it was for some reason. I don't know what it was, dude. I've never been that scared in my life at a place. Dude, we were scared the whole time. We were laying on the couches downstairs because they had nice beds upstairs, but it
was a hotel. It was a legit hotel.
Right.
And they had, how many rooms would you say upstairs?
Like 6 or 7.
6 or 7, right?
That were open that you could sleep in.
Yeah,
nice beds. And we're sleeping on these uncomfortable couches downstairs in the safe room because we were too scared.
Man, that whole hotel was made full of wood. So you can hear every step, every noise. Yeah, every creak. If the wind blew, you could hear it.
Yeah.
It's funny how different locations, give off those different vibes. It's like, our group's done Waverly Hills 5 years. We rented it out for 5 years straight for private investigations from 2011 to 2015. We went every year, drove down to Kentucky. And the place is creepy. I mean, it's obviously a very ominous and it's huge. It's 180,000 square feet. I mean, it's nuts, but I felt okay in there. I actually, one of the years, I went to do a solo session in the morgue, and this was at the point when they still had the tray in the middle. They have just the bottom one now, but I was like, all right, I'm going to lay on the middle tray, push me in, leave. I'm going to do a solo session. So they did. And it was about 2 a.m. and it was 100 degrees out, ridiculously hot. We were all tired. So I'm in there doing a solo session. And then about 5 minutes into it, I fell asleep. like in the autopsy tray, pushed in, cold. Yeah. But then it's like, I go there and I can fall asleep in the morgue. But the mansion I was telling you about in Vermont here, there's one room on the 2nd floor that everybody, for some reason, is just uncomfortable in. I mean, you can walk into this room and you don't want to be in there. I was in there by myself for 5 minutes this past year when we were there, and I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm uncomfortable in here. I need somebody else in here. And it's so weird how different rooms even in buildings can give off different vibes.
Right. It doesn't matter. Like even the owner of the hotel was with us, and he was like, it's never been like this. Like, he was even nervous in there. He's like, it's weird in here.
What you guys do?
Yeah, I know, right? What do we do? We were trying to go to sleep. It was like 5 a.m. or something, and we're like, why do we do this to ourselves?
Oh yeah. It was after a bunch of things happened. It was the first night, and JP and I are just laying there, and our other friend, he's knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Like, he just knocked out so easily. And JP's like, man, why don't we do this?
We're like,
we could be home in our own beds.
Yeah, we were contemplating
comfortable,
our life decision.
right?
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like, we say that too. And then it's like, people are like, well, how do you live in your house? How do you deal with that if stuff's going on? How do you just go to bed?
Mm-hmm.
And you just do, you just kind of, you forget about it until that next night when something happens. And then you're like, oh shit, like why do I have an autopsy table 10 feet from my bed? Like, why is that down the hall? Like,
that's when those thoughts start happening. This is sort of on topic, but like a while back, I bought a bird-eating tarantula, and I was like, "Oh, this is a good idea."
Nope.
And I was laying in bed, and I had like 10-pound weight on the top of the lid, and I was still scared to go to sleep. I was like, "I'm gonna wake up, and it's not gonna fucking be in there."
If I think you need a bird, it'll eat your hand, so I'm good with that. No,
dude, I was joking with JP. I was saying that while he was away, that spider was lifting up that 10-pound weight, like, just working out, being like, "I'm gonna get that son of a gun."
He doesn't know. He'll be in this little cage,
it's
right?
coming to him.
Let me check the chats real quick. So let's see. Keeper of the Second said, "If you are scared, you won't last in Yorktown." Well, Keeper, I've been to Yorktown about 7 times. I lasted there.
Yeah, I won't last. Okay.
He's like, I'll admit it.
I'll admit it. I won't last.
Let's see. Anything else? Andy R said, "I never got a chance to ask how your trip to Madison Seminary was this year." Steve?
I was good. This is the second year in a row we've gone for 2 nights back to back, and it's crazy. It's one of the most active places we've been. Like I said, I've done Rolling Hills 30 times, and for a while there, I couldn't compare it to anything else. Rolling Hills was the place to go if you wanted a paranormal experience. I said, go to Rolling Hills. I don't care where you are, how long it takes you to get there, go. Because when I was volunteering out there, it was 300 miles each way from my house. So it's, 600 miles round trip, and I've been out there 30 plus times.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it if it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? I was out there almost every other weekend at one point, and it was crazy active. But the last couple of years we've been to Madison, I've never seen a place like this. I've never seen just not even the amount of activity, but just the different types of activity that all happen in the same building. It's so crazy to see all the differences from the residual and the intelligent hauntings and I don't want to call it negative, but I don't even know what to call it, honestly. It's whatever's on the 3rd floor has an effect on people, and it's pretty crazy to see in person and have it happen to you.
Yeah.
But some of the clearest EVPs I've ever caught anywhere, definitely out of Madison. Adam's got the Panasonic, like you have the RR there. Yeah. And the first year we went, he happened to be out there that weekend. He met up with us, and he came out with us for a little while, and he brought it upstairs. And, we're standing there. He's like, all right, somebody give me a word. And I had been out there before that to do some work on the building with Adam. And so I had been out there and I had seen the stuff that had happened, but nobody else in my group had been out there. So they didn't know really what to expect here. And we had one guy in our group just go, okay, octopus. Like, you want a word? I'm going to say the most ridiculous word, octopus. So Adam pops on the Panasonic and says, okay, we're going to do the word game. On the count of 3, I want you to say octopus. And he says 1, 2, 3. And he says, say octopus. And he sat there for maybe 15 seconds, clicked it off, clicked it back on, clear as day, octopus, right after he said. And it was, you couldn't mistake what it said. We ended up getting to say Madison Seminary the same time, and just a couple other. It's crazy, the EVPs that come out of that building. It really is.
Maybe they know, like, because obviously he's done a lot for that place. Everybody's done a lot for that place, but maybe they really just truly appreciate like the work that's gone into it, because I always go to the jail in Lavaca, and I always get a lot of stuff there, and it's always really active for me and for Deborah, the property manager. But she's put so much work into it that I think that the spirits honestly just like appreciate what she.
Yeah, they genuinely appreciate it. You're saving their location. I mean, Adam, to see where that place has come, even from when I went out there last February to work on it, to where we were out there again in May this year, just to see all the work that they've done in that amount of time it's crazy. I mean, it's really cool. They put a brand new fire system in so they can open back up to the public because I got hit with that. We spent the weekend when I was there basically painting the entire basement floor. They had moldy carpet down there, so we tore that all up and put like some basement paint down. So they do everything. It's not just, hey, we're going to go put an old bed in this room and call it fixed up and make it look pretty. You know what I mean? They're out there replacing windows. They're fixing plaster. They're putting up drywall, fixing the roof, building new railings on the porch. They're doing everything top to bottom to make sure that building's around for another 100 years. And I think the spirits genuinely appreciate that, and they can see how much Adam cares and invests in the building and everybody that he has out there, who's out there every single weekend and during the week, just every spare minute they have. And I think that's why they get so much activity. It's kind of like the spirits are like, all right, we'll give you guys something back since you guys are helping us out here. And there's a lot of history in that building. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think that they noticed that. Tim has a question. Let me try to find the question, Tim. Got a question. Do odd things happen, Steve, at your house just by having the Ouija boards in your possession?
I don't know at this point. It's tough to say if it's, the house, the stuff I collect, or if something could follow me from somewhere. I've sat down with a couple mediums before, and one in particular knew nothing about, that I did this. When she took the appointment for my wife, she actually got it for me. And when she took the appointment for my wife, all the woman knew was my first name. And I walked in the room, and the very first thing she said was, "Oh, you're involved in this type of field." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you do something with like spirits of the afterlife." I said, "Yeah, like, how do you know?" She said, "Well, you're very followed by people." She's like, "You have a lot of people who just walked in behind you from the places you've been." So now I don't know if it's, our 108-year-old house, people that follow me from somewhere, my wheelchairs, my Ouija boards, I just don't know anymore. But I will say that one of the craziest things we've had happen here was about 3 nights after we moved in. We had to take a second trip down to our old apartment with another truck to get the rest of my stuff because it didn't all fit in the truck the first time. So we had to go down and get my headstone, my autopsy table, and the jail cell bed, I think, was what we had to come back with. And we brought those up and we put them in the room and went to bed. It was, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we went to bed. And in the middle of the night, about 1:30, our dog, who's, a 70-pound pit bull, everybody thinks they're the most ferocious things in the world. Mm-hmm. She sleeps on the bed with us, and she jumps up on the bed at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and all her hair is standing up, and she's just staring and growling at our bedroom door, which was wide open. And we're kind of like, oh, maybe it's because it's a new house to you. You're scared. You heard a noise, whatever, like calm down, go back to sleep. So we're sitting there kind of trying to pet her and calm her down. And clear as day, we heard about 5 or 6 footsteps coming right down the hallway towards our bedroom. So loud that, you could hear the floorboards creaking, and I actually got the cold sweat like, oh, somebody's in our house. I thought somebody had actually legitimately broke into our house. I thought there was a person walking to our bedroom. And
then you tell your wife, go check it out.
She goes,
well, no,
she goes, go check. I'm like, well, no, like, because what if they have a gun? She's like, you're the man, like, get up and go check. So I got, so I got shoved out of the bed, but no, all the doors were locked. Everything was secure and there was nobody in here. But, that was the night we brought all the rest of my stuff up. So was it something to do with that? Or is it people that are attached to the house being like, what the hell are you bringing into the house kind of thing? You know what I mean? So I just don't know, but
there's just no telling.
Yeah, those moments in life when you're like, why was I born a guy?
Like, well, like, this sucks. Why do I have to get shot for it?
I know. Real quick, the nice little sponsor break. Well, not even a sponsor because we don't have any sponsors.
We do. Our friends over at Skillshare.
Sorry, Steve. It's like an inside joke. We don't have sponsors. But if you're new to the channel and you are here because Mr. Steve brought you, brought you.
That's pretty good.
See what I did there? Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you stay up to date. We upload Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We live stream Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Central. We live stream tonight, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Central, every week. Also, if you want to support extra, go to our Patreon account. We have some cool little, they call them tiers, I guess. Like if you subscribe to the Patreon, I don't know what it's called, but check it out. And
you want to be on the highest tier possible.
The highest tier.
Not the lowest.
Yeah.
No one likes to be on the bottom.
If you're on,
unless you're lazy.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Tim asked a question. Tim asked, "Is your wife an empath, Steve?"
Not that we know of. I mean, I think she's definitely in tune with it, and she can sense things and stuff, but not like over the top, not more so than anybody else, but she's definitely become more of aware of her surroundings now after she's been doing it, and she picks up on things. So it's been cool to see, you know, from the first time we went to Rolling Hills and she was huddled in the corner, a little bit freaked out about going down towards the boiler room, to now where she'll go off by herself and sit in a corner and go, you know, sleep in a hospital by herself with just me and her, and she doesn't care. And
yeah,
but I think she's in tune with stuff, definitely.
For sure. Yeah. So, but she has, even though she's young, she probably has the wife empath, so she knows when you're lying and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a man in every woman. Come on.
Yeah, all do.
That is the truth.
Yeah. It's just in them. They can't.
It's their natural instinct.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's how my wife. She was like she wasn't ever really scared of it. She just kind of went along with the flow. She went with the flow, and then now she has like weird feelings, and she gets like overly whelmed emotions and stuff on location. It's really strange. So I think that she's starting to develop some type of.
And I think a female, you know, they're almost more in tune with their emotions and their senses, and I think they get a lot of different reactions and activity at a lot of the spots we go, and they pick up, I feel like, on emotions a lot more so than the guys do in investigation. You know, the guys are always like slam a door, like throw something.
Yeah,
we're like, oh, it's fine, and the whole building's, you know, burning down, and we're like, it's fine.
Everything's levitating.
Yeah,
but they're more like, you know, I feel sad. I feel sad here. I don't know why. You know, I feel like that gets picked up by women more so than guys. I've noticed on investigations. Not that guys can't, you know, obviously feel emotions in locations, but I just noticed that the women in our group seem to pick up on that a little bit more.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, they just are more emotional.
They're more in tune with their emotions.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And smarter. So
like you run out of ice cream and they start crying. You're like, it's just ice cream.
It wasn't too much. It wasn't chocolatey enough.
Yeah. Right. It's just not chocolate. No, we love women. Don't we, Roman?
Huh?
But yeah, so that's pretty cool. Like we stated before, it's really good to have like your significant other like part of this and stuff. If we didn't have a kid, she would probably be more involved than she is. But sometimes that makes it hard. So just keep that in mind before you have a little one come in your way.
Only little one we got is our dog. And that's the only thing we got. That's the only one we got planned. So
that's the only one we got planned. Yeah, plans never go according to plan. So keep that.
Plans never go according to plan.
I kind of want to discuss something with you. I think we can discuss it a little bit. I mean, it's in the talks, but I'm the type of person that if I talk about something enough, it ends up happening. Not like I'm like a fortune teller or something, but like I just get stuck on one thing and I do it until it happens.
And then he drops it later on, and then he finds something else.
Yeah, and then I pick up something else.
Yeah,
same
he's
thing.
Literally a 2-year-old.
I get very tunnel visioned on things too, and I have to just focus on one thing and make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, real quick, what's up, Lady Death? I'm glad you could make it. Okay, so we are kind of discussing an idea for a possible documentary with Steve. Should we say location, or is it too soon to say location?
I mean,
or the location we have set in our sights.
Yeah, where we want to, I would say. I haven't heard back from him yet. I actually had to get my phone reset like last month, so I lost his number, but I've reached out to him. So I hope to hear from him tomorrow. I've got my feelers out, so we should be good. Okay,
cool. So we are going to go ahead and say we are trying to set up where we can film a documentary at Madison Seminary. Hopefully you hear from Adam pretty soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to go out there. How many nights what are you thinking?
I don't know. It's cool because like I said, the last couple of years we've done 2 nights in a row, and it's interesting to see the different activity from night to night in a spot. But I think, you know, we're just a couple of us in there. I would say at least 2 nights just to make sure we hit everything. It's a big building, and there's not like, it's not like okay, so the 3rd floor, you know, is you got to spend 8 hours there because that's the only spot stuff happens. It's like every room in the building has some story attached to it. I mean, even in the break room, like the little room where everybody hangs out, we've had stuff happen in there. You really just can't escape it there. There's no bad spot to be. And it's technically, it's technically 2 different buildings that are just attached by middle section. Mm-hmm. So there's like the Civil War side, and then there's the seminary side there. And so there's a lot of ground to cover, and there's activity everywhere. So I would think at least 2 nights probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And it's just the basis of the documentary is just, you know, well, it's going to be 3 of us because Roman's going to go with us as an extra cameraman. But the 3 of us just going in there and kind of, I don't know, just
getting the feel around. That's it.
Yeah, trying to prove the existence of ghosts. Really focus on the history of the building.
The feel around, yeah.
Get the run around it, and you know, up and down it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, maybe he's not going to come. But yeah, so I think if we could pull this off, man, it would be really, really, really dope. And you know, I really appreciate everything Adam does for the building, and I really appreciate, you know, what he does for the community in the field. So it would be really awesome to produce a good quality documentary for him. You know, I'd give it my all on production wise.
It's definitely a building that has history and has activity and a story worth telling. And there's been a few groups out there that have done, you know, some webisodes and stuff, and they've done great jobs. And I think the more groups that we get out there, the bigger reach that we have, just the more it'll help the building, and it'll help Adam, and it'll help tell the story. So I think it's a great idea, and I think it's not going to disappoint. That's true. You're not going to go there and have a disappointing time. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially if we could do it for at least 2 nights, maybe 3.
Yeah.
You know, if we can do it in the middle of the week sometime. But
right now I got every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. So you tell me.
Oh, dang. Oh. Yeah, I work with my wife, so we pretty much plan our schedule. So I think I can do it. And then
I've got school.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a job though, so
it's not a set schedule. I mean, they pay me. I have a job, but I'm a videographer.
He's a gigolo.
I'm a gigolo.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I go around Houston and all the old ladies.
Yeah, he just shows them a good time. He just takes them on dates.
Yeah, they're about to die anyway, so.
Yeah.
But they never leave me their will.
They never put me in their will. But yeah, dude, if like I said, man, if we could pull that off, that would be freaking dope, dude. Because I mean, I can't imagine like this amount of people being in that big ass building.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said, the first time I went out there to do some work on it, it was me, Adam, and I think he had 3 or 4 of his other volunteers out there at the time. But it was February, so it was the middle of winter. I mean, there was 3 feet of snow outside. But the way they do things out in Madison's a little different. When I pulled up at 10 o'clock at night in the middle of February, they had about a 10-foot bonfire going out back, just chilling in the snow, hanging out, having a good time. And so I got there late, and I was like, oh, okay, we're just going to hang out tonight, get to work tomorrow. So we're standing out there by the bonfire for a couple hours, and then it's like, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, all right, you ready to get to work? I'm like, damn, all right, sure, let's go. So, so we went in, and then it was just me and him in the building, and it's crazy. It really is. You're not alone. You're not alone in there. There's just so much going on in there. You can just feel the energy from the building. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I can't even imagine how much evidence we would capture being there for just a couple of nights.
It's nuts. We had one investigator get a window slapped. Like you could hear the sound like skin, just like a palm bashing off the glass, and it got him up out of his chair quick. Shadows, doors, voices, footsteps. I mean, pretty much everything that you can expect in a haunted location goes on there, and it happens all at once, and it's nuts. It really is. And we've had some crazy things happen, stuff that I've never experienced before anywhere. And, I've been doing it for 9 years now, and it's pretty cool.
Have you ever had an experience where you can only describe it as like a mind fuck?
Yeah, that would be this year.
Really, this year?
What happened?
So all right. So in our group, it's actually, my wife does it. We have some family friends, some kids I met through school and stuff. And then my mom is actually in the group, and my grandfather. So it's kind of cool. We got like a family thing going too. So my mom was out there with us this year. We were on the 3rd floor. Now, the tour guide, Trent, who's a great guy, he's out there all the time. He lives really close to the building. He's out there almost every day. There's one room upstairs that he told us, our only thing is we don't want people going in this room alone. We've had some incidents where we would just feel more comfortable if people weren't in there by themselves anymore. Basically, he said that he was in there working one day with Adam, and for some reason just got overwhelmed with anger. He was very mad at Adam over something stupid. Like Adam was in the hallway painting, and Trent was in this room doing work, and he got really mad at Adam because Adam was out in the hallway, and he felt like he was trapped in this room and he couldn't go anywhere. And I mean, he said he just got ridiculously mad, was like snapping at Adam, and it lasted the whole time he was in there, and lasted a while. And Trent's, when you meet Trent, he's not like that. He's one of the most laid back dudes, like wicked cool. So for him to say that, I was like, oh crap, like that's pretty crazy. Like we definitely have to come up and focus on this room tonight. So we got up there. It was me and two other people, one of our guy investigators and one of our woman investigators. And we were standing in there for a few minutes, and I was on Facebook Live, and for some reason I was standing there for a minute. I was like, okay, I'm going to turn Facebook Live off. And I don't really know why. We tried to do it a while we're in there, and I just turned it on. So I turned it off and put my phone away, turned it off, everything, and gave one of the other guys the camera. And I said, okay, you film. Like, I don't want to film. And I just took my hands and I put them in my pocket, both my pockets, and I'm just standing there. And I said, for some reason, I want to go towards this corner. The rooms upstairs in Madison are set up really weird. They're small rooms with a lot of sharp angles and like weird little corners in the rooms. It's just kind of weird. But I was standing there. I was like, I just need to go towards this corner. And I said it out loud. I was like, I don't know why. I'm like, I'm just feeling like I have to go over here. So I went over there, and I was kind of just standing there, like leaning against the corner. And I remember I was just fixating on this window that's like basically on the ground opposite of me. And I was standing there, and a few minutes go by, and I started getting kind of like this warm, tingling feeling. And I was like, I want you guys to leave. And they both kind of looked at me like, well, no. Like, first of all, they said not to be alone in here. Second of all, you're standing in a corner with your hands in your pockets being weird. Like, why are you being weird? They're like, why are we here with this guy? So I was just like, I'm like, no, like, I want to be alone. I want you to leave. And they're like, well, no, like, we're not going to. At that point, Amy, the female investigator, was like, I don't feel so good in here. I'm going to step out for a minute. So she stepped out. And the very first thing that popped into my mind, and I knew it was weird when it came into my mind, and I even said to Mike, the other guy, I was like, listen, I'm like, I just thought this right when she walked out. I'm like, it's weird. I don't know why I thought it, but I did. And I said, as soon as she walked out of the room, the very first thing that came into my mind was 1 down, 1 to go. And I was like, no, like, ill intent. I wasn't like, oh, 1 down, now I get to kill Mike and I'm alone. It was just like, okay, 1 down, 1 to go, focus on getting him out of the room. And he's like, okay, that's weird. So he called Amy back and told her, and she's like, I don't like that. Like, I don't feel good in this room. Like, Steven, you should come out of this room. You're not acting yourself. And I was like, no, like, I'm fine. And that's what I just kept saying. I still had my hands in my pockets. And I was just very monotone, and I'm like, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Like, I just kept repeating that to them. I'm like, I'm fine. And they're like, no, you're definitely not. Like, something's off with you. And I was like, no, like, I'm good. So she left, and me and Mike stayed up in there. And I ended up, like, again, like, I knew I was doing it, and I knew it was weird, but I couldn't stop myself from doing it. I, like, found myself doing it. I started turning towards the corner more, like actually shifting my whole body. To at one point, Mike goes, are you facing the corner? And, like, at that point, I was like, oh, like, I almost am. Like, I was basically staring into this corner, like, standing in the corner, like doing that weird horror movie stuff that people do where they just kind of go off. So I was doing that, and I was like, oh, that's like, I don't know why I'm doing that.
Johnny's like,
yeah, exactly. Just blood.
I didn't see that happen.
And then so I turned back around, and I'm standing there, and I'm still, hands in my pockets, very nonchalant. And I got warm, and it was like I felt just so calm. Everything was like, peaceful. I was almost like falling asleep, but I wasn't tired. It wasn't late. And then Mike was like, okay, what are you doing with your leg? Like, why are you standing like that? I said, what do you mean? And basically what he said he saw was that I was standing in the corner, and I had my right leg like outstretched, like almost like a first baseman was like stretching for a throw. And I was like, no, dude, like I turned on, like, I was like, no, like my leg's right here. Like I had my leg against the wall. He's like, you didn't just put your leg out like that? I'm like, no, I haven't moved.
You're like, no, I just activate my tripod.
I was like, no, I didn't move. And he's like, well, I just saw a leg. He's like, I just saw a leg come out from behind you. He's like, that wasn't you. I said, no. So at this point, he's like, okay, he's like, something weird's going on. He's like, you're acting really weird. He's like, why are you staring at that window still? And he's like, maybe we should head out of here. I'm like, no, like, let's hang for a little while longer. I'm like, I feel good. Like, I feel at peace. I'm warm. He's like, you're warm? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, I'm just making sure it wasn't me. And I guess he was getting the tingling feeling on like the top of his head, and it was like going down to his fingertips. But it was like a warm, and then almost like your hand had fallen asleep, like that kind of tingle. Mm-hmm. So we were standing there for a few more minutes, and I just stared out this window, and I didn't say anything. Again, aware of everything that's going on, but knowing it's weird. And then I said to him, okay, we should leave. And he said, okay. So then I walked out first, still hands in my pockets, staring straight ahead. And this is where it gets fuzzy. I remember walking out of the room. I remember Mike taking a left to go get one of our other investigators who was down in another room. I remember turning to the right and going to the stairs. Now we're on the 3rd floor, so I'm standing at the top landing of the staircase, and then there's 2 more floors below me. And I remember walking out and just walking down the stairs and passing our investigator Logan and the tour guide Trent. Now, according to Trent and Logan, it's not what happened. Apparently, they came up the stairs to get me because Amy had told them like the weird stuff that I was saying and what was going on. So they were coming up the stairs to get me, and they said they got up to the 3rd floor, and I was standing at the top of the landing with my hands in my pockets, staring out the windows of the building, just like straight ahead. They said they came up and saw me, stopped. I like looked down at them and then just walked by them, didn't acknowledge them, didn't look at them, right downstairs, hands in my pockets, down all the way the flights of stairs, and went down to the break room. That part I don't remember. I don't remember standing there. To me, it was walk out the room, walk down the stairs, downstairs. That's what I remember. Trent was like, okay, like you're definitely off. We need to go outside. Let's get you outside, get you some air, kind of take a break for a minute. So again, hands in my pockets still. I have had my hands in my pockets for like 45 minutes now. And I'm still all calm and nonchalant. We go outside. And I'm standing there, and everybody's like, huddled around me, like basically like, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? And when you get to investigate with me, and like when you get to know me a little better, like I'm pretty upbeat. I'm never calm. I'm never quiet. I'm obnoxious really most of the time. And they were like, you're being weird. Like, you're very quiet. You're monotone. You're not yourself. You're kind of in a daze. Like, your eyes are glazed over. But I guess we were standing out there talking, and one of our investigators like kept asking me questions, and I would look at him and answer the question. And then I would turn and look right back up at the 3rd floor windows, and I would just stare at the building. And he's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, what do you mean? He's like, you look at me, you answer me quick, and then you go right back to staring at the building. So that went on for a few more minutes. And then I went back inside, and they had me sitting down in the break room, and I'm just like sitting there, hands still in my pockets. And I'm like all fidgety, like my legs are twitching, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, at this point I started getting mad. I'm like, you guys are freaking out. You're saying I'm acting weird. I'm telling you I'm not acting weird. I'm telling you everything's fine. I'm here to investigate. Like, I want to be investigating. You guys are, basically blowing this up out of nothing. Like, this is what we're here for. We got to push it to the next level. I want to see what happens. I want to go back in there. And I was getting angry. And they just were like, no, like, you got to take a break for a while. So I did. I sat down for a while, and I guess it was almost 45 minutes to an hour before I kind of like snapped out of it and went back to myself, and my hands came out of my pockets, and I was talking, and I was acting normal, and I was eating pizza and just hanging out. And my mom looked at me, and she's like, see, she's like, you weren't yourself. Like, there was something wrong there for a while. She's like, you weren't acting like this. So I don't know. I mean, that's.
Yeah. It's funny because you literally like described the same thing that happened to me to a T, except I had, when I got angry, instead of just like being angry, I started having like violent thoughts of like physical.
This was like a few months ago too, right? Yeah,
he was there, and that was the most annoying part. Was you probably understand this because this happened to you, but in my head I kept saying I'm okay, I'm okay, but I knew something was weird, but I kept telling myself I'm okay.
Yeah, that was the weirdest part. It's like
like there was like 2 things in your head at one time.
Exactly. It's like it was almost like whatever was there was trying to convince me that everything was fine, so I wouldn't leave the room, and so I wouldn't stop, and like so I would stay up there. It was like, no, like, I'm fine. That's all I kept saying was I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. And they were just like, no, like something's off. But it really was. They were like, you're acting weird. But to me, I didn't see it as that. I was like, no, there's nothing wrong. Like, you guys are being weird.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Roman was
your
telling me.
stories sound exactly like his.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's nutty. And that's the first time I've ever had that happen to me. And I can't explain it. I'm not religious at all. So like possession and demons and devils, I'm not saying there's not something negative out there. Mm-hmm. I just don't know what it is, and I haven't come across it. But that to me was the first time that I wasn't myself somewhere. Something else happened. I don't know if it was the energy or if it was something like a spirit there, but something different happened there that I can't explain.
Yeah, like whenever we were at the location it happened to, I had only been around the owner of the location that day. Like that was the first time I had met her. And she even knew there was something weird because we hung out with her for most of the day. And she was like, "You're not right." She was like, "I'm a mama. I know like when something's wrong." And
right.
She was looking at me and she was like, "You want to hurt me, right?" And I literally just had a thought of like just punching her in the face. It's so freaking crazy, dude. It was weird. It was so, and what's really strange is like if I feel like these occurrences like this have happened more frequently as of late amongst people. I don't know if it's because it finally happened to me, so like I'm seeing it now, or if it's something like something's going on the other side that we don't know about or something, because I feel like it's happening more often to people than it has before.
I've been noticing that, and I've been noticing that a lot of people are like what you did. You stepped away for a little bit. You took a break and kind of regained yourself, which is good. A lot of people, you should, and it is. It's becoming more prevalent. I'm seeing it a lot on Facebook. People are saying, not a possession, but X, Y, and Z happened to me here. I wasn't myself. This wasn't right. And it's not 10 people going to, Villisca Axe Murder House that are all saying it. It's people at different spots all over the country saying the same thing out of nowhere.
Yeah, like the same exact. It's like really, really crazy.
I mean,
yeah.
You're in Texas and I'm in New York, and we've never investigated. You've never been to Madison. I've never been to that location, and it's almost matching up perfectly.
Yeah, literally the same thing, except I just had thoughts of killing people that I love and friends. It was so weird.
Yeah. No, see, I didn't have those. I didn't have I kept telling them, like, I'm not gonna hurt anybody. Like, I was never angry enough where I was like, I'm going to hurt you. I was more angry like, why are you stopping me from doing what we came here to do?
Yeah, that too. They were trying to get me out of the room, and I'm like, no, this is what we're here for. Like, why are you trying to make me leave? Right. Like, yeah. Real quick, let's get to the chat real fast. Flynn is saying that he thinks that this might have to do with like UFO and alien encounters, because they have the paranormal string theory, which basically means everything's like all together.
Right.
That's possible. He says they're responsible for missing 4111. Yeah, that's a really good documentary, by the way. If you've never seen that, Steve, you need to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. We had a question. If you go back and it starts again, do you think you'd recognize it coming over you?
I think I would like to think I would, but at the same time, it's like I didn't.
And when it happened, you didn't.
I didn't. Yeah. It was like I knew something was weird, but I didn't know to what extent. And I would definitely like to go back and spend some more time in that room. I went back later that night, and it was calm. Nothing was going on in there. I was good. Nothing happened. But we did have a couple other investigators who went up there while I was outside right after it happened, and they were in there investigating. Again, two more wicked laid back guys, like nicest guys you'll meet. One of them's actually only 16. He's been with us since he was 12. He started coming on public events with us, and he was 12 years old, and he came a bunch of times. And the kid's smarter than everybody in our group. He speaks 4 languages. Like, kid's a genius, And so like he's way more mature, but he's way laid back, like having a good time. Everything's funny. And then they were up there, and Trent, the tour guy, went up again, was like, hey, like, guys, come out of that room for a while. Give the room a break. Like, you just saw what happened. Like, something's not right. And both of them like snapped on him and were like pissed that he was telling them to leave. And neither of them are like that. So it was almost like whatever was in the room didn't want to hurt us and didn't want us to hurt people. It was getting upset that people were interfering with whatever we were doing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It was almost like whatever was in there had something it wanted to tell us or wanted to show us, and it kept getting interrupted.
Yeah, that makes sense. And everybody's like, hey, get out of here and stuff. So what has that changed? Like, for me, like now I'm a little more, I don't take like the protection stuff for granted anymore. Like, I like will tell the spirits to stay wherever they're at, and I don't just leave. And I try to say like a little prayer to myself before and after, and things I never did before that I kind of took for granted. A new rule now too, like as if somebody that like, because I have people that I know and they're like, oh, I want to try that out. Before I'd be like, yeah, come on, come try it out. Now I'm like, no, if you're serious about it, because that could happen to you like the first time. Like you never know. Like I mean, it took me 11 years, but you never know. It could happen to you the first fucking time you go, and you're screwed. Like like you're just never gonna be the same. It changes who you are.
They make a movie about you.
It's not exactly. It's not something that I think a lot of people now that all the TV shows have been on for so long, they're like, oh, I want to do that because that looks fun. And Zach Bagans drives a Bugatti, so I want to do that because I want to drive a Bugatti. You know what I mean? Like I want to get found and have a TV show, so I'm going to go out and do something stupid and try to investigate because I see everybody else doing it, not because they have any interest or anything like that, which is fine. Everybody's got to start somewhere, but I think people need to take it more seriously because stuff like this can happen. And
that's why I wanted to make that documentary, which you saw the opening for. It's really just based on these type of experiences, because I feel like I used to watch people and stuff, and when they would say they had these types of experience, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You can't really understand it until it happens to you.
Exactly. And that's how it was with Zach Bagans there, because everywhere he went was, oh, I'm channeling so-and-so, or I'm doing this. And the one I remember most is from one of their earliest seasons. They went to Preston Castle in Ione, California out there. And he wandered off from Nick and Aaron, and they couldn't find him. And they found him like sitting in a chair in a room by himself. And he was like talking all weird and almost feminine. And they thought maybe he was channeling, the woman worker who was murdered there. And I was like, dude, come on. Like, really? This is TV. Like, come on. Like this was all set up. You planned it. How do they happen to find and wander right into the one room that you were in? But now it's like, as much as I think he is a TV personality, you got to almost second guess it because I've seen it now.
Right. And not just that, he's going constantly. Like this happened to me when I was going at a time where I was really frequently going like over and over and over again. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Like, I think that because we were filming the TV show, it happened at the last location. And, like that we went to that Old Park Hotel, and I feel like that place kind of tore down this like wall, this protection wall I had because I was so scared the whole time. And then just like
makes you more vulnerable.
That's all I think it was, man. But I don't know, man. It's really weird. So that's why I want to make that documentary, kind of like a PSA. Like, look, if you're looking to get into this field, like make sure you need to understand that this is something real. Like I was never like I still don't even consider myself like a spiritual person in the sense of like, oh, give me these rocks to ground myself. And, so I don't do stuff like that. Like I just go in there with my equipment and I ask questions and I try to just investigate the location,
Right.
So now I'm like, maybe there is more to this than just that,
Exactly. That's what there was like, oh, do you protect yourself? Do you say anything? And I'm always like, no, like I see, because to me, like for the longest time, I mean, my wife was like that. She's like, I'm good with it. Like I go investigate. She's like, I don't necessarily want them coming home. She's like, but now I let you do all this stuff here. And she's like, so I can't always stop it. She's like, but when we're leaving like a Waverly Hills or a Rolling Hills, when we're leaving, her and my mom, everybody will be like, stay here. You're not welcome to come home with us. Like we'll come back and talk to you. And I'm just like, I'm getting in the car and going home. Like if they want to come, they're going to come. You know what I mean? Like personally to me, I don't think saying something to them is going to stop them. If they can throw a chair and I can't see them, me telling them not to stay, not to come with me. To me, I don't see it stopping them. Unless there's some unwritten rules that we don't understand yet.
You just say, I have gonorrhea, back off.
you don't
want to trust me.
You don't want to come home.
Yeah, I think it's less of like telling them and more of like yourself. I think that might have happened to you for some reason in that moment. You were vulnerable, whether it be like you went in there, you were thinking about something else. You were thinking about like something that pissed you off in the early part of the day. You got your doctor's results and you had gonorrhea and you were mad.
You're like, son of a, I knew I should have. Oh, whatever.
If your mind's not 100% into it, I think you are. You're more vulnerable. You're more open to things. If your mind's not focused, you have to be 100% invested in what's going on.
Yeah, so I think that might have been what it was, you know, and maybe that's why we were so vulnerable when we went, because we were so focused on filming this TV show.
Yeah. Right.
You know, we're like, we need to get this done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, honestly, by the last day, that last investigation, you know, we were pretty...
I was telling you because you're being really kind of loud.
We were being, laissez-faire about it?
Yeah, like we were
like we were just like, okay, let's film this,
let's get this done. We were just so we were like, worn out of filming the stupid TV show.
It does. It takes its toll. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is, man. And I think that telling them, you know, when you're leaving, like, stay here, it's not really telling them. It's more telling yourself. It gives you that self-confidence. And and if you don't allow them to, like, personally, then I think that they can't really affect you. I think that's what it was. It's
almost like you're closing it off. You're like, okay, that part's done for the night. I'm going home. I'm not investigating anymore. So, like, you're closing yourself off, basically. Right.
Like how you're supposed to close the Ouija board.
Right. Yeah. Always bring it to, I have a shirt that has all the different rules, you know, okay, always bring it to goodbye and stuff. But it's actually funny, at the time it moved, the planchette was pointing to goodbye after. So.
Oh, that's weird. Real quick before we go, because we're getting close to an hour here. I wanted to talk about this earlier, but I forgot. So to the Ouija board, I can't remember who I was talking to this with. I think it was Sean. He's on my team. And we were talking about, like, the idea of Ouija board and, like, why do they seem to have, like, negative entities attached to them or something? But I think it's, why they get that rap. I think if you think about it, like, in my mind, using a ghost box and using a Ouija board, there's no difference. Like, you're doing the same thing. But I think that there's two things that change the Ouija board. Is, for one, that it's old. So, like, a lot of older spirits can understand how to use it. And then two, it's probably, in my mind, I would think it's easier to manipulate than a ghost box.
Right.
So maybe that's why, like, these ugly entities seem to have an easier time coming through the Ouija board, because they're low energy. They're just, like, not good entities. So for some reason, it's easier for them to manipulate. They're basically like I don't want to say the R word, but, like, retards.
I was about to say.
And they're like,
they come in.
He spelled demon. Like, but on a serious note, I think that's why there's, like, this negative connotation.
And their whole negative rap really started when The Exorcist came out. You know what I mean? That's where it all came from, because allegedly, you know, in the old Exorcist house, that's what happened. The kid was playing with a Ouija board, and then all this opened up. So then it goes into Hollywood, and now everybody's like, oh, like, it's because of the Ouija board. Now those are the portals to demons. That's what it is. But it's like, exactly like you said, I think taking a piece of wood with the alphabet and some numbers on it, and another piece of wood with a hole in it,
and a retarded demon, and there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different to me than taking a voice recorder and going in and asking questions. You know what I mean? They're manipulating the voice recorder instead of the planchette. And that's, to me, there's no difference. But
yeah, I don't see the difference either. But that's my theory on it. You know, so.
Only the intelligent spirits come through the radio.
Yeah, only the intelligent.
They use the technology, and the other one's just a piece of wood. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody said, I thought Edenfield, the board, was used as well. I've heard different stories. One, it's okay if you closed out your session properly. Is that true? One, if you close out your session properly, is that true? I'm not sure what she's asking. That's Andy. I think
it's everybody's own interpretation. You know what I mean? If you feel safe using a Ouija board, but you feel like you have to close it out when you're done, then close it out when you're done. If you don't feel safe using one, don't use one. If you don't care, then go for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I have no thoughts on it one way or the other. I collect them because I think they're cool. I think it's awesome that there's all these different ones, and that, you know, some of these boards, like these two directly behind me, you can't really see these little wooden ones. Those are both 100 years old. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's cool to think about. I have some that have writing on them from the back, you know, like Christmas gift, December 25th, 1930 something, you know what I mean? And it's just cool to see all the history of that was somebody's present in 1930. And did they get together with all their friends and use it? And did they have an experience that made them all piss themselves? Or, you know what I mean? Did they not use it once?
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool to have the history. He's still thinking about the retarded thing.
because I'm thinking about, like, E.T. being the retard alien. They just dropped him off.
Like, this guy's so annoying. We can't kill him, Ben. All right, we'll just drop him off.
Just drop him off.
Yeah, so I think we pretty much wrapped up the show, man. Thanks for coming on. It was a blast.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Is there anything that you like want to promote or way people can find you and follow what you're doing?
We have a Facebook, South Glens Falls Paranormal Society. We have Facebook. We have a Twitter. That's just basically linked to our Facebook. So if you like our Facebook, you're going to see the same things on Twitter. We do have an Instagram. We have a YouTube that we don't use, so there's not really a point to follow that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't post on YouTube. I think y'all should.
We used to. Like I was telling you that the other day. We used to make little like webisode videos way back, but life got in the way. I don't know how you do it as much as you do it. You know, we just got busy and a lot of stuff going on. It's hard. I mean, we do a lot of public events and stuff too. So a lot of our time is spent organizing. We've hosted a convention before. We do a lot of conventions. We do presentations. So when we go out and do an investigation, it's almost like, okay, this is just for us. Like we want to go out and just investigate and get the evidence. We'll play it at some events and stuff. But yeah, we just haven't had, we'll upload stuff to YouTube every once in a while. Like if we have some crazy good footage that we caught somewhere or something, we'll throw it on YouTube. But Facebook is where we post 95% of our stuff. We post pictures on Instagram. But if anybody's in upstate New York or within driving distance of Glens Falls, Queensbury, or Vermont or anything like that, we do a lot of public events, especially with October. We have every Friday and Saturday in October basically already full.
Dang, man, that's crazy that you can get. We're never involved in public events. Like
Yeah.
We're like the exact opposite as you.
Yeah, we're involved slightly, and then they're like, "Get out of here!" You know.
Yeah, we start making stupid jokes.
You're the R word.
Yeah.
We've had some good relationships that we've built with some of these locations that we've been doing events at for 5 or 6 years, and it's cool because we get to bring people that are interested in it or that watch the TV shows, and we give them a little taste of what it's like. They do about 3 hours of investigating. We let them use the equipment, so they kind of get an idea. But yeah, October is Friday, Saturday, every weekend. We have a bunch at a jail. We are going to do a castle. We do another haunted house. Like we do all kinds of stuff. But proud to say they sell quick. We sold out 20 tickets the other day in 4 hours.
Damn.
Yeah. We have like 2 tickets left for our jail events, and that's 60 tickets in 2 days. So
wow, that's awesome, man. Well, keep it up, dude. Keep doing the work. Yeah, you're definitely active in the community, and that's cool. There's different ways to be active in the community, sharing videos or doing what you're doing. So
yeah,
definitely keep it up, man. It's awesome, and we are going to make this documentary happen.
We will, absolutely. And like I said, if for some reason it doesn't work out at Madison right away, we got plenty of spots up here. You guys can come check out whenever. You can stay in the haunted house that we live in, and have a good time.
That'll be interesting.
Heck yeah, man. So. All right, well, I'm going to stop the stream. Thanks to everybody that was watching. We appreciate it. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you liked it, like. And if you want to support a little bit more so we can do these type of documentaries and stuff, go to the Patreon page and check it out. And until then, have a good night. We'll see you live Tuesday night. And of course, we'll be uploading a Ghostbox session tomorrow for Ghostbox Friday. See you later.
Bye.